Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajacharya Stor Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajacharya Stor Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. आनंद कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय. श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय. श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय. श्री गंगा मैया की जय. श्री जमुना मैया की जय. श्री तुलसी महारानी की जय. श्री भक्ति देवी की जय. Gaura Premanande, all glories to all the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, October 15th in 2025, and today we're beginning with Srimad Bhagavatam 4:22-40. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Guru Maharaj, would you like to read? Yeah, I'll begin with text 40.
Text 40. Okay.
Oh, nice. Oh, sorry, I may have not been able to hear actually if you were speaking because my audio. Sorry about that.
No, my audio was my audio. 4:22:40. Okay, let's see. Give me one moment. I wonder whether we should go through Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary for text 39 because it's such an important verse. Let's do that. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadam Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lulita Sri Vishakan He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Pyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Jayādvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is 39. Yat Pada Pankaja Palasha Vilasa Bhaktya Karmashayam Gratitam Udgrati Anti Santa Tadvan Narikta Matayo Yatayo Piruddha Shroto Ganas Tamaranam Pajavasudevam. The devotees who are always engaged in the service of the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord can very easily overcome hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the gyanis and yogis, although trying to stop the waves of sense gratification, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, having predominance of bhakti, culminating in Shantarati, was explained starting with verse 22. Verses 37 and 38 explained Bhakti Mishra Gyan, with a predominance of Gyan, with the goal of Sayuja Mukti, merging. Understanding Prithu's distaste for the words, know that Lord, I am He, mentioned in verse 37, since he had pure bhakti in the mood of a servant and nothing else. Sanat Kumar now speaks of pure bhakti, by which one achieves prema, in which liberation is a secondary effect. He glorifies that bhakti as the best process in 2 verses. So in the previous verse, we'd heard Soham, the end of the verse, I am that. And some, what should we say? Some mixture of Gyan with the process of devotional service. And Sanat Kumar can understand that Prithu Maharaj had some distress at hearing this Soham with its impersonal tinge. So now he's glorifying pure devotional service at the lotus petal feet of Krishna. Palasha, petal, refers to the Lord's toes in this verse. Vilas means distinctive sport or movement with distinction. Visheshena lasa. Vilasa. In other words, beauty increasing at every moment. Thus, the phrase means by bhakti to the Lord's lotus toes, whose beauty increases at every moment. Bhakti has 2 forms, sadhana, practice, and sadhya, perfection. Karmashayam means ahankar, filled with impressions of karma. This is tightly knotted, gratitam. This is equated with avidya, ignorance. The Hridaya Granthi refers to the same thing. Or another meaning is, by bhakti to the Lord's toes, endowed with various astonishing skills, vilas, such as massaging, putting perfumes on the Lord's body, bathing him, and dressing his hair. Or it can mean by remembrance of the beauty of the Lord's toes. So this is all all different meanings. Please worship Vasudeva, the shelter, Bhaja Vasudeva. The Vaishnavas, Santa, untie the knot of Ahankar filled with impressions of karma and tied tightly by the jiva's previous action. By now performing actions to the Lord which have the opposite effect, by the process of bhakti, progressing from sadhana to sadhya, which is offered to his lotus petal toes, whose beauty increases at every moment. Ascetics, yatayaha, cannot do the same. Why? Their minds are without objects of thought, rikta mataya. They are without intelligence. Like persons without wealth, they are without intelligence. Contemptible persons, asanta. Santas, commendable persons, on the other hand, have their minds concentrated on the Lord. They have good intelligence. So this rikta matya, without thought, that's how Chakravarti Thakur renders it. There's nothing to think about because their goal is something impersonal. So they're without thought and also they're like persons without intelligence. An unintelligent person also has nothing to think about. The ascetics have attempted to stop the group, gana, of senses which flow like rivers, gota. But just as it is impossible to stop the flow of a river, this attempt to stop the senses is a sign of their foolishness. On the other hand, the santas, the santas engage their eyes and other senses in the sweetness of the Lord's beauty and other qualities. They are very intelligent and happy. Aranam means shelter. Worship the son of Vasudeva, Krishna. Aranam can also mean without battle. If you do not surrender, then you will have to battle the senses and you will be defeated. Rana means battle. Rene Supatna in Bhagavad Gita. Rana Samudhyame, also Bhagavad Gita. So Rana means battle and Arana, no battle. So the impersonalists take the path of trying to battle the senses, and of course the senses are going to win. But the devotees take the path of arana, no battle. They just absorb themselves in thought at the lotus feet of Krishna. And so the devotees are always victorious. Okay. Any thoughts or comments here? All right. Kristro Mahaniha Bhavarnavam Aplavesham Shadvarga Nakram Masukena Tatir Shanti Tatvam Harir Bhagavato Bhajaniyam Angrim Kritvodupam Yasanam Uttara Dushtararnam. The ocean of nescience is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. Although those who are non-devotees undergo severe austerities and penances to cross that ocean, we recommend that you simply take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like boats for crossing the ocean. although the ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of his lotus feet, you will overcome all dangers. Material existence is compared herein to a great ocean of nescience. Another name of this ocean is Vaitarani. In that Vaitarani ocean, which is the causal ocean, there are innumerable universes floating like footballs. On the other side of the ocean is the spiritual world of Vaikuntha, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as parastasmatu bhavonya. Thus, there is an ever-existing spiritual nature which is beyond this material nature. Even though all the material universes are annihilated again and again in the causal ocean, the Vaikuntha planets, which are spiritual, exist eternally and are not subject to dissolution. The human form of life gives the living entity a chance to cross the ocean of nescience, which is this material universe, and enter into the spiritual sky. Although there are many methods or boats by which one can cross the ocean, Kumaras recommend that the king take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, just as one would take shelter of a good boat. Non-devotees who do not take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet try to cross the ocean by other cross the ocean of nescience by other methods, karma, gyan, and yoga. But they have a great deal of trouble. Indeed, sometimes they become so busy simply enjoying their troubles that they never cross the ocean. There's no guarantee that the non-devotees will cross the ocean. But even though they manage to cross, they have to undergo severe austerities and penances. On the other hand, anyone who takes to the process of devotional service and has faith that the lotus feet of the Lord are safe boats to cross that ocean is certain to cross very easily and comfortably. Prithu Maharaj is therefore advised to take the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord to easily cross over all dangers. Dangerous elements in the universe are compared to sharks in the ocean. Even though one may be a very expert swimmer, he cannot possibly survive if he's attacked by sharks. One often sees that many so-called swamis and yogis sometimes advertise themselves as competent to cross the ocean of nescience and to help others cross. But in actuality, they are found to be simply victims of their own senses. Instead of helping their followers to cross the ocean of nescience, such swamis and yogis fall prey to Maya, represented by the fair sex, woman, and are thus devoured by the sharks in the ocean. So Kristro Mahan Iha Bhavarnamam Aplavation Aplava Isham, the devotees have the yogis and gyanis don't take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And so they undergo Krishna Mahan, lots of trouble. Klesho Tikataras Tesham Krishna. Their method involves huge trouble, austerities, penances, so many obstacles. The ocean they're trying to cross is vast and full of sharks. And so they have to undergo so many troubles. Shadvarga Nakram. Asukena Tatir Santi. They're attacked by the sharks of the six senses, and they cross, if they cross at all, it's with great difficulty. Asukena means with great difficulty, or it's an unhappy business. They don't take a joyful process. Tat Tvam Hare Bhagavata Bhajaniyam Angrim Pitva Urupam Vyasana Uttara Dushtara Arnam. So our advice to you is that you cross this very difficult ocean by taking shelter of Bhajaniya Angri, the lotus feet of the Lord, which are worth taking shelter of. Bhajaniya, they're worthy of worship. Get in this boat, and you'll cross very easily. What is that in the Bhagavad Gita? The end of the fourth chapter. And Sarvagana Plavena Iva Vijnam Santurishasi. When you're in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you'll quickly cross over this ocean of material existence. And the Lord's lotus feet are Satchidananda, so they're all knowledge absolute, blended with transcendental bliss for all eternity. So this is the boat to take. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Crossing samsara is difficult for the sannyasis and yogis. Aplavesham means those not having the ability or means to cross. The root eat means to be able to. I don't see how the root is there, but that's his comment. Or the word can mean with the Lord, who enables one to cross. There's great suffering, kricha, for those who don't have the means of crossing, because they desire to cross but cannot cross the ocean of samsara, filled with the crocodiles of the six senses. If they're not killed by the waves of lust or devoured by the crocodiles of the six senses, and if they're strong, though tired, and do not give up, after a long time, somehow or other, by using the arms of Jnana and Vairagya, among them, one may with difficulty cross the ocean. Therefore, you should cross the ocean of samsara, difficult to cross, vyasanam, by making a boat out of the Lord's lotus feet. Taking shelter of the boat of the Lord's feet to cross samsara easily, which becomes the size of a calf's hoofprint, is expressed in the following verses. Samashritaye padapallava plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murari Lavam budir vatsapadam param padam padam yad vipadam natesham. For one who has accepted the abode of the lotus feet of the Lord, who's the shelter of the cosmic manifestation, and famous as Mukunda, or the giver of mukti. The ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoofprint. The place where there are no material miseries, or Vaikuntha, is his goal, not the place where there's danger in every step of life. Tvayambujaksha kila sattvatamni samadhina veshita chetasaike tvatpada potena mahatkritena kurvantiko vatsapadam bhavapatihim. O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of great saints. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the hoofprint of a calf. What difficulty is there in this? There should be no fear of getting on that boat. So this is Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Some Jnani or yogi may possibly, with great endeavor, cross the ocean of material nescience. Meanwhile, and he's swimming against the sharks or crocodiles. Meanwhile, the devotees are sailing over that ocean on the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. All right, Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna. Saraswati Mataji, would you be able to take the chat?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Pranams Param Pujya Gurudev and all the Vaishnavas. Maharaj, this line where it says, indeed, sometimes they become so busy simply enjoying their troubles. That sounds like a paradox. I knew somebody who could fit that definition, because they were somebody who couldn't rest, couldn't be at peace. If they didn't have something to worry about, they'd be worried that they didn't have something to worry about. So I once was talking to them and they were saying, oh, well, I'd like to cut off all the troubles that may come. So I sit here anticipating one trouble after another. In that way, I won't get caught by surprise. And of course, they had a whole myriad of health problems because they could never be at peace. They always had this heightened anticipation, heightened emotion. But I have a question. Where they say Sat Varga, 6 senses, is that exactly the same as the 6 Vegam? Is that exactly the same thing? That Rupa Goswami said something about the 6 Vegam, the urge to speak and you know.
No. The Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. Those are there's 6 Vegams. Varga is to be just get you the exact definition of Varga. I'm not talking off the top of my head. Yeah, it's a category, separate division. Stop this. Dictionary sometimes behaves in a funny way. It's a category, a separate division, class, set, multitude of similar things. So it's a group of Shadvarga basically means the group of six. So one could, I'm sure commentators could offer lots of alternative meanings for what the six are. One meaning would be the six urges, but the meaning we've heard here is six senses. One is Shashtan Indriyani Prakritistani Karshanti. Six senses, which include the mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We're at text 41. Shyam Sindhu Prabhuji, would you be free to read text 41?
I'm not sure how my audio is.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got something in the chat box from Praveen Prabhuji. One devotee who was emphasizing Varna Ashram argued that even those practicing bhakti sailing over the ocean are seen falling prey to Maya, not just the jnanis and yogis. How do we see this verse then?
Yeah, it's not that Maya's not there and that a devotee doesn't have to consider Maya, he just can sail over. But comparatively speaking, look at what the Gyanis and the yogis have to go through. The yogis have to shucho deshe pratishtha. They have to go to a sacred place and be all alone and stop their breathing finally. There's so much that they have to do in the Ashtanga yoga system. And the Gyanis have to sort their way through this and that. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this. This is the truth, this isn't the truth, this is not, this is not. And they have nothing on which to fix their minds because they're trying to fix their minds on something void or impersonal. Klesho dikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. The whole method is fraught with difficulty. And even if one attains perfection, by neglecting the lotus feet of Krishna, they're easily subject to fall down. They have nothing to hold on to. So the devotee also, it's acknowledged, may sometimes fall apakva because of being immature in the process. But still, this method is so much easier. Chant Hare Krishna, dance, take prasadam, discuss Krishna Katha, fix your mind on the ever-increasingly beautiful lotus feet of Krishna. This is, by comparison, such an easy process. So even though some practitioners may experience some difficulty and may fall, even then they can't give up thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna. Those lotus feet are so attractive to them. So compare that to the impersonal method. There's, as they say, no contest.
Shyam Sindhu Prabhuji, can we check your audio? It sounded all right.
I'm audible? Everything's good?
Yes.
Okay. It's text 41, yes?
Yes.
Maitreyo vacha saivam brahmaputrena kumarena atmamedasa darshitatma gati samyak prashayo vacha tam nipa. The great sage Maitreya continued, being thus enlightened in complete spiritual knowledge by the son of Brahma, one of the Kumaras who was complete in spiritual knowledge, the king worshipped them in the following words. Purport. In this verse, the word Atma Medasa is commented upon by Sripad Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who says that Atmani means unto Lord Krishna, Paramatmani. Lord Krishna is Paramatma. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Brahma Samhita 15.1. Therefore, one whose mind is acting fully in Krishna consciousness is called Atma Medasa. This may be contrasted to the word Grihamedi, which refers to one whose brain is always engrossed with thoughts of material activities. The Atma Medaha is always thinking of Krishna's activities in Krishna consciousness. Since Sanat Kumara, who was a son of Lord Brahma, was fully Krishna conscious, he could point out the path of spiritual advancement. The word Atmakatihi refers to that path of activities by which one can make progress in understanding Krishna. Om Jnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Yes, I was just reading, what was it? I read with one of the other devotees. Prabhupada was mentioning cleanliness, external and internal cleanliness. I think somewhere in the 13th chapter. He mentioned internal cleanliness means always thinking of Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna. And I constantly see this theme of the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Now I see Atma Medasa, well-versed in spiritual knowledge. What is it? Being thus enlightened in complete spiritual knowledge. In which he mentions the Atma Medhaha, whose brain is always who's contrasted to the Grihamedi. So I suppose the mind of someone like the Kumaras is always engrossed in thoughts of spiritual activities. And it just kind of found that interesting. It's like once the internal cleanliness, just having all of your thoughts completely focused on the Lord is the solution to all of the problems that one could be dealing with, material, spiritual. And unlike what we read about before, the incredibly difficult path of the impersonalist, just by engaging in hearing, engaging in community, essentially, being around other devotees who are always engaged in thinking about the Lord, which I guess is kind of like what Prithu Maharaj is doing now. He's associating with the Kumaras, and he's inquiring about spiritual knowledge. And it's association. Just by doing that, being around people who are enlivened by this knowledge, then we kind of it's almost like infected with thoughts of Krishna at every turn. So I was thinking about what we're speaking, Maharaj, this process contrasted to what the yogis go through, which is trying to forcefully clear out the mind of material activities. It's I'm not sure, I'm guessing their process, maybe it's impossible, but this seems a lot more, at the very least, feasible. That's all I have. Maharaj, you have any comments?
Yeah, thank you, Shamsun. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur grants that, it may be possible. Maybe some Jnani or yogi, someone swimming with his two arms of Jnana and yoga, may somehow cross the ocean despite the vastness of it, and despite the sharks, and despite being exhausted, he may cross. That's what he'll give. Possible, but this kind of possible. So troublesome that who can expect it? Prabhupada says about the yoga system, Arjuna couldn't do it, we can't do it. Maybe someone can do it. Whether are we that someone? We're not going to the Himalayas. We're not going to stop our incoming and outgoing breath. Someone may do it. Maybe there's some yogi somewhere. But we're not that yogi. So this is the easy process. Why not take the easy process? Why make life difficult for ourselves and embrace uncertainty or really unlikelihood of success? I love this contrast Prabhupada gives between Atma Medha and Griha Medha. I hadn't remembered that. Griha Medhi is the materialistic householder who's always thinking of Griha. the cost of this, the cost of that, all the things that go into, we have to fix the roof, we have to fight some legal case over this or that, all the things that are involved, or just deal with politics on the home front. And my wife is this and my wife is that, and always thinking about his home, Griha Meti, or thinking about the physical home, or thinking about his wife. What Prabhupada gave another meaning of Meti, that in India, you'll see they'll thresh grains by having a bull tied to a pole, and there'll be like a circle and pounded earth. And they'll have the bull tied to the pole and walking around in circles. And so he's trampling on the grains, and in that way, the grains are being separated from the husk. So that pole, Prabhupada said, is called a meti. And Prabhupada said that pole is like sex life, or the sexual organs of the wife. So he's going around and around with that as the center, sex enjoyment. So that's another meaning of Griha Meti, where here just this simple meaning. Meti means, Medha means brain substance, Alpa Medhasa and Sumedhasa. Yajanti Sumedhasa, Yagais, Sankirtan Empire. In Kali Yuga, those who are Sumedhasa, who have good brains, are engaged in Sankirtan. So here, Atma Medha, their brains are absorbed in thinking of the Atma, which Prabhupada mentions means Paramatma, Krishna. So they're Sumedhasa, Atma Medhasa, always thinking of Krishna. And the materialists are Griha Medhasa, always thinking of home and material enjoyment. And Atma Medhasa, those who are Atma Medha, always thinking of Paramatma, go to Atma Gati, the lotus feet of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, when you were talking about those Gyanis who may have successfully crossed the ocean, I'm wondering if they were actual stowaways having latched onto a devotee. We're on text 42. Naveen Prabhuji, would you be available to read that?
Yes, I can. Text 42. Rajo Vacha Krito Me Nugraha Purvam Avinartha Nukam Pina Tam Apadayantam Brahman Bhagavan Yuyam Agata. Translation. The king said, O Brahmana, O powerful one, formerly Lord Vishnu showed me his causeless mercy, indicating that you would come to my house. And to confirm that blessing, you have all come. Purport. When Lord Vishnu appeared in the great arena of sacrifice, at the time when King Prithu was performing a great sacrifice, Ashwamedha, he predicted that the Kumaras would very soon come and advise the king. Therefore, Prithu Maharaj remembered the causeless mercy of the Lord and thus welcomed the arrival of the Kumaras, who were fulfilling the Lord's prediction. In other words, when the Lord makes a prediction, he fulfills that prediction through some of his devotees. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that both his glorious names and the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra would be broadcast in all the towns and villages of the world. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada desired to fulfill this great prediction, and we are following in their footsteps. Regarding his devotees, Lord Krishna told Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. The point is that the Lord himself could declare such things, but it was his desire to make the declaration through Arjuna, and thus doubly assure that his promise would never be broken. The Lord himself promises, and his confidential devotees execute the promise. The Lord makes so many promises for the benefit of suffering humanity. Although the Lord is very compassionate upon suffering humanity, human beings are generally not very anxious to serve him. The relationship is something like that between the father and the son. The father is always anxious for the welfare of the son, even though the son forgets or neglects the father. The word anukampina is significant. The Lord is so compassionate upon the living entities that he comes himself into this world in order to benefit fallen souls. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijami aham. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Bhagavad Gita 4:7. Thus, it is out of compassion that the Lord appears in his different forms. Lord Sri Krishna appeared on this planet out of compassion for fallen souls. Lord Buddha appeared out of compassion for the poor animals who were being killed by the demons. Lord Nrsimhadev appeared out of compassion for Prahlad Maharaj. The conclusion is that the Lord is so compassionate upon the fallen souls within this material world that he comes himself or sends his devotees and his servants to fulfill his desire to have all the fallen souls come back home, back to Godhead. Thus, Lord Sri Krishna instructed Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna for the benefit of the entire human society. Intelligent men should therefore seriously consider this Krishna consciousness movement and fully utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita as preached without adulteration by his pure devotees. I don't have any comments, but Maharaj, would you have comments on this verse?
The Artha Anukampina. Artha means those who are suffering. One who's suffering is Artha Artharti Jigyasu Ganicha. Artha means the person in distress, and anukampina by one who has compassion. Tate nukampa. Anukampa means compassion. So the Lord is very compassionate. Deen Bandho. He's known as the friend of the distressed. And Katome Anugraha Purva. The Lord showed me favor by his compassion because I was a distressed soul. So the Prabhupada comments about the compassion of the Lord toward the living entities. Why would one go for shelter elsewhere? That verse is there, that how could one take shelter from one more compassionate than Krishna, who was so kind that he gave the position of his mother even to such a witch as Putana. This is the Lord's compassion. Instead of seeing her as an enemy, he took the good side, that she's nursed me like a mother, so I'll give her liberation, or better than liberation. So this is the Lord's compassion. in accordance with the Lord expresses his compassion, or may express his compassion through his devotees. When someone is suffering, the Lord may send him a bona fide spiritual master, or may send the association of devotees, so that one may be freed from this suffering. So that's happened, that the personality of God had arranged for Srila Prabhupada to come to the West and then to spread the Hare Krishna movement all over the world. So that's Dina Anukampa, Artha Anukampa, to the Lord, by doing so, expresses his compassion for the fallen souls. And all we have to do is accept this blessing given by the Lord. The Lord promises, I'll protect you, I'll save you. So we just have to take that assurance from the Lord and take up this Krishna consciousness movement. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, Prithu addresses Sanat Kumar, since he's the head of the four Kumars, he's the head of the four. So, especially, and then he addresses them all with Yuyan, plural number. So first he addresses Sanat Kumar singular, and then all four of the Kumars. There's a hand from Shyam Sindhu, it looks like.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, a question regarding, so demons like Putana and Shishupal, even though they're trying to kill Krishna, they get an upgrade in their position. But I don't think the Mayavadis get that. I think they just go to hell. And so it seems like the demons trying to kill Krishna are actually more dear to Krishna than Mayavadis. Is that accurate? How does that work?
Well, Prabhupada usually grants them that they get the same blessing, because, of course, Putana was extraordinary, but generally the demons killed by the Lord attain impersonal liberation. That's what we usually hear. Putana was extraordinary. She got a position like the Lord's mother. But generally, the demons killed by the Lord attain impersonal liberation, which is what the Mayavadis are trying for. So, you're trying for impersonal liberation. Maybe even the demons get that. You can be, if you like, you can follow this path and attain the same destination as the demons. That's the general. And of course, that is a hellish condition. Go to hell means, all right, they go to the impersonal Brahmajyoti, perhaps. But if they go, it's a hellish place, because there's no individuality, no opportunity for transcendental loving exchanges with the Lord. There's just eternal monotony. So, Kaivalyam Narakayate, the Vaishnavas consider liberation, impersonal liberation itself, to be hellish. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mara. Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, can we say that because Krishna could declare promises, but he'd rather do it through his devotee, because we know that sometimes Krishna does break his promise, like at Kurukshetra, he did pick up a weapon against Bhishma Dev, and he manipulated time and the movement of the sun so that Jayādvaita could be killed before the end. So is that the reason why he would rather do it through his devotee? Because then it's unbreakable, that promise.
Yes, Prabhupada said that's why he has Arjuna promise. And he fulfills these promises through the devotee because he wants to glorify the devotee. Nimitta matra bhavasavya sachin. Actually, Maya Hatam, I've already killed everyone here, but you can fight and take the credit. So that's another reason. Hare Krishna.
We're at the end of our time for the class. Venkatesh Prabhuji, would you be available for the closing kirtan?
Hare Krishna.
Are you available to lead the closing kirtan, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes. Am I audible now?
Yes, thank you.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Ashatyane Shutarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Dev Mishmat Brahman अष्टोदश श्री श्री वैसे सभक्तिवेदांत प्रपात की जय अनंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत वेदांत श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोकुल राधा की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय नंदीकुमार धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा यमुना की जय तुलसी भक्ति Great God Lakshmi ki jai. All your associated devotees, all your associated devotees, all your service, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. God Premanand, Hari Bol.
Thank you for all the Vaishnavas for joining our Sangha. His Holiness Jayādvaita Maharaj Shri Ki Jai.
Jai.
The Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you all.